Very good morning to all of you, and thank you very much for your kind words of introduction, Madam. Chairperson of the Open University of Mauritius, Mr. Dua Pentia, Director General Dr. Kaviraj Sharma Sukon, Director of Open University, Registrar, distinguished guests, dear students and parents. It's a privilege to join all of you on this very important occasion, and I'm grateful for this invitation. It is especially exciting to be among so many young and bright minds which we see here, and the motivated personalities. It is perhaps only in Mauritius that we can gather for such a convocation ceremony currently. We have to thank the government, all the frontline workers, and the people of Mauritius for their efforts to make this country COVID safe. Friends, a convocation address is the appropriate occasion to pay homage to our teachers. And I would like to begin my address by a simple expression by the American historian Henry Adams, who said, "A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops." I may also refer to what probably is the first available convocation address delivered by rishis and found in Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, "Yanyasmakam sucharitani, tani tvayopasyani, no itarani." It means that aware of the human failings and imperfections in himself, the Acharya cautions his pupils that in their conduct they must follow whatever was without blemish and none else of his conduct. Friends, today is a proud occasion for all the students, parents, and teachers, and it is heartening to learn about the remarkable work that this university has been doing since its establishment. I understand that many of you are already working, and these may be additional qualifications that you have pursued at this university. This is encouraging to see that you have invested time and energy to upgrade and improve your knowledge, skills, and qualifications. Friends, there are learned discourses on the aim and purpose of education. And we could turn to another Adams, this time James Adams, who very succinctly summarizes what education is all about. He says, there are obviously two educations. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other how to live. Obviously, while the first is indispensable for living, the second is what will make us a social man, realizing our multidimensional potential to the maximum point under a given set of circumstances, and possibly leaving behind us something for the others to remember us by. Good education and academic excellence lay the foundation for the development of any society, and this has been true across the world through the ages. This is where the role of schools, colleges, and teachers becomes so important. Education empowers us and makes us less dependent upon others. And I would recall that nearly 120 years ago, here in Mauritius, during his visit, Gandhiji urged active pursuit of education as a path to empowerment for the colonized people. Both India and Mauritius have since made remarkable progress by investing in education. Mauritius, a rainbow nation and an island economy, has progressed rapidly from being a colony to a successful democracy, economy, and a welfare state. And today, Mauritius, as we all know, tops various rankings, not only in Africa, but fares better vis-à-vis many other countries on a varied set of rankings. Mauritius, with its multilingual skills, is also well placed to strengthen its position as a higher education hub for Africa. And you all know that this success has been built upon a respect for diversity and evolving from a monocrop economy to a very diversified economy. And going forward, as we see, various aspects of ocean economy, renewable energy, knowledge economy, and innovation will have to be developed more fully. Self-sufficiency in some critical areas is also required, as COVID pandemic has shown us all. Academic institutions of excellence go a very long way in building a strong base for the future of its students. And countries with top-class institutions attract talent from the world over and become global leaders in various fields. India has had a long tradition of institutions of higher learning of great renown, and over the past 2,000 years and more, there have been several legendary multidisciplinary institutions or universities which flourished in cities such as Takshila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, and Vallabhi. These attracted scholars and thousands of students, not only from India, but from afar. Indian scholars have made also seminal contributions in diverse fields over the past centuries, ranging from science, mathematics, astronomy, medical science, to philosophy, yoga, and other fine arts. And today, in India, education as research helped us to harness nuclear power, launch probes to the moon and Mars, do research in Arctic and Antarctic, join the leaders in the IT and software development, in solar energy, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, and many other fields. Many Indian scholars are also known for their original and significant contribution in economics and other liberal arts fields. Many multinationals are today managed by Indians who graduated from management and research institutions. This just shows the importance of education, higher education for any society. It is also true that most societies cannot actually educate all their population because of various reasons, because of lack of resources or high cost of university education. Therefore, the Open University format is admirably fulfilling this vital gap worldwide. In India, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU, along with several other universities, are offering higher education in a wide range of subjects, and they cater to over 40,000 students from over 40 countries worldwide. A rare, fortunate outcome of the global pandemic that we are seeing is that the stock of distance learning worldwide has risen, and its acceptance in the marketplace is likely to see a further improvement as we go along. As was just mentioned by Director General, education is an area where India and Mauritius have long-standing engagement and partnership. A large number of Mauritians have studied in India over the last several decades. Many of them availed scholarships. India remains an attractive and affordable destination for quality higher education for students from across the world. Similarly, a number of Indian students study at medical institutions in Mauritius, and many Indian interns work with the hospitality industry here in Mauritius to gain valuable experience. In the mid-1990s, the then Division of Distance Learning in the government of Mauritius partnered IGNOU, which had been established in mid-80s, and the collaboration included development of online course content and conduct of degree courses. This was followed by partnership within the framework of Pan-Africa e-Network project launched in 2008, where 7 Indian premier universities were involved for teleeducation. The project has now been remodeled and upgraded into the Vidya Bharati project, which was just referred to, and it's called the EVBAB. Our partnership now also extends to young children, a digital early learning program through the distribution of e-tablets to young students in grades 1 to 3 in Mauritius has been very successful and popular, and with among both the students and teachers who enjoy the new learning systems which are aided by modern technology. Friends, if we turn to the second aspect of education, which is its broader impact on our lives, beyond as a means to just gain livelihood, I would refer to Will Durant, the outstanding historian, who said that education is progressive discovery of our ignorance. In fact, this aspect is also the prime exhortation not only of science in the last few hundred years, but also Eastern philosophers and Western philosophers alike. They say Atmanam Vidhi, which means know thyself. So the education really encourages you to kindle a certain restlessness of the mind to know more and possibly add to the stock of world knowledge if you can. Friends, convocation usually marks a very significant transition. For those of you who may have still not started work, this is a transition from a largely protected environment to a tougher world, a real world, one full of opportunities, but also challenges which are to be managed. It is a transition to a greater responsibility. And while professional qualifications prepare us for better opportunities at the workplace, there cannot be smooth sailing at all times in anyone's life or career. We all know this. So we must develop the resilience to meet challenges and occasional failures and possibly learn from them and not let them overwhelm us. Technology and macroeconomic policies over the last 2 or 3 decades have significantly integrated economies. Globalization has led to huge shifts in international economies in terms of trade, investment, mobility of persons. And the COVID pandemic is impacting all economies and supply chains in many, many ways, which is forcing a fundamental rethink. In addition to the health crisis, this is also disrupting other spheres of human activity and is impacting significantly the way we think about education and workplace. The important lesson in all this rapidly changing economic and knowledge landscape is, in an increasingly interdependent world, is one of quickly managing the challenges and adapting. Professional skills and qualifications equip us both with tools to be flexible and manage such changes. Use of technology and a multidisciplinary approach is of growing significance for both teachers and students and professionals in the contemporary world. What do I mean by multidisciplinary approach? While we study many subjects at a general level and specialize in one or two at a higher level, we must make efforts to understand where such knowledge and qualification fits in our broader understanding of the world. For instance, we study history, geography, economics, finance, management, law, physics, chemistry, biology, and many more. But we must be conscious that these subjects are not completely separate. These distinctions are man-made. For example, the history of any country is linked to its geography, and together history and geography of a place can tell you about the agriculture, about the economy, about cuisine, culture, and arts of that place. And we can easily imagine this in a country like Mauritius. Collectively, all these things hint to us what lies ahead, and that is the utility of such understanding. And it is the same with science. If I can just digress, it appears that soon after the Big Bang, when laws of physics were taking shape, bigger molecules and elements began to be formed, and which quickly gave way to, in fact, what we call chemistry. Soon geology took over as the rocks formed planets, and at some stage these geochemical reactions and energy interactions gave rise to biology on Earth. Life, plants and animals evolved in the sea and then came to the land. And human beings are recent entrants who may have evolved initially in Africa as tectonic plates shifted and climate changed. Humans made tools, started agriculture, and established civilizations. And today, our industries and lifestyles are affecting the same climate, the food, energy, and water security, and our own long-term future. Government policies, corporate actions, and personal choices will again determine many aspects of these trends in the future. As we all know, we live in very fast-changing times, and there is a bewildering variety of subjects and professional qualifications to choose from. And similarly, there are new types of jobs, especially in the service sector, assisted by digital and communication technologies, emerging almost every day. This requires lifelong learning, upgradation of skills, and an open, positive attitude. While today's world and workplace may appear more uncertain than ever, it offers many times more opportunities than were available even 2 or 3 decades ago, both locally and globally. So possessing skill sets and tools to adapt to different conditions are becoming more crucial. And as you advance in your careers, it will be useful to place value on professionalism, discipline, quality of work that you produce, teamwork, and ethics, along with sincerity and decency. These human qualities can never let you down in the long run. Equally important will be to remain curious and alert to various interconnections to understand society, economies, and global issues, how they are linked. And the engagement of any organization that you work for, the engagement of that organization with the wider society and economy. This would certainly bring value to your organization and help you become thought leaders in your respective fields. Friends, while ambition is a good motivation and a healthy competition is useful, you must retain a broader perspective on life. A reasonable work-life balance is also important, even if at times difficult to achieve. I remember my father telling me, reminding me, when I was going through this transition 3 decades back, that even if one were to win a rat race, one would still be a rat. It would be far better to strive to become responsible citizens. When I started working more than 3 decades ago, our long-distance communication was done with landline phones, which very few people had in India. Today, we are always connected by internet and smartphones to the world, and all the time exposed to the latest trends and developments in the world, which do not appear distant at all. But we must try and not lose touch with our immediate surroundings, family and friends, and our environment, our heritage and our own roots. And this is for our own sake. I wish all of you graduating students the very best in your professional careers and lives ahead. Continue to make all efforts to become good individuals that will help you, your organization, families, and society. And may I congratulate once again, very warmly, all of you, your families and your teachers on your convocation. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I would kindly request our Chief Guest, His Excellency Mr. Tanmay Lal, High Commissioner of India to Mauritius, to proceed to center stage. And I also invite the Chairperson and the DG to center stage. The Open University of Mauritius offers a shield as a token gift to our Chief Guest, and I request the Chairperson to kindly do the honors.